At 4:17 local time, the Red Sea remains wrapped in darkness inside the Combat Information Center of a U.S. Navy carrier strike group. The atmosphere is calm, disciplined, almost routine, until the first alert tone slices through the silence. An Aegis console lights up, multiple inbound tracks. Bearings split to the north and northeast. The tactical action officer stays composed. New contacts, high speed, flight profiles that do not match civilian traffic. On the main display, two separate vectors begin to take shape at the same moment. That is the first warning sign. The northern track is flying low, extremely low, skimming just 30 feet above the water and accelerating. The eastern track is completely different. It rises fast on a steep arc, following a ballistic profile. Two directions, two flight envelopes, one shared time window. This is no accident. Time to impact, the captain asks evenly from the bridge above. 97 seconds for the first cruise missile. Ballistic track approximately 3 minutes to terminal phase. No shouting, no panic, just calculations. The strike group shifts instantly from patrol posture to full combat readiness. Condition 1. Vertical launch system cells go live. SM-2 and SM-6 interceptors are assigned. ESSM batteries come online. Electronic warfare begins a passive scan for emissions, and Iranian frequency patterns appear almost at once. The radar picture sharpens. 4 cruise missile signatures confirmed. 1 ballistic missile climbing fast. Then a third concern emerges. Subsurface contact. 32 nautical miles out. Passive sonar picks up a transient signal. Low-frequency diesel-electric pattern. A narrowband signature consistent with a Russian Kilo-class submarine. The sonar operator does not speculate. He records. Probable submarine contact, bearing 087, range 32 miles. Now 3 domains are active at once. Air, surface, and subsurface. On the tactical display, everything is converging. Above deck, flight crews stop mid-motion as the alarm echoes across the carrier. Steam hisses from catapults being safed. Deck crews lock down loose gear without hesitation. Every movement is fast, practiced, automatic. Back in CIC, the ballistic track reaches mid-course. SM-3 solution available. Execute. The order is delivered quietly. On an escorting destroyer, a launch hatch snaps open. An SM-3 interceptor tears upward into the night, rising with controlled force before disappearing into the upper atmosphere. Moments later, an exo-atmospheric intercept, a distant flash at 80,000 feet. The ballistic track vanishes from the display. No celebration, just one threat removed. The cruise missiles are still coming. Now they are visible on surface radar, skimming at roughly 50 feet, weaving slightly as terminal guidance activates. Assign SM-6. 2 more hatches open. Interceptors launch in rapid sequence, climbing outward before angling down toward their targets. One intercept lands cleanly. Debris falls harmlessly into open water. The second incoming missile complicates the picture. Decoys separate. Multiple returns appear at once. Electronic warfare indicators spike. Iranian jamming attempt detected. The SLQ-32 responds, isolating the waveform and countering with narrowband disruption. ESSM ripple fire. Shorter range interceptors launch low across the water. One incoming missile breaks apart in a bright flash just 3 nautical miles out. The second sea-skimming track keeps moving. Then the sonar operators tense. Transient torpedo launch confirmed. The submarine has joined the engagement. Its acoustic signature sharpens. Wake-homing torpedo in the water. The strike group changes formation instantly. One destroyer surges to flank speed, deploying Nixie decoys. Towed acoustic countermeasures stream out behind it. Overhead, an MH-60R Seahawk lifts off in less than 3 minutes, rotors cutting into the humid air as dipping sonar gear is prepared in flight. Inside CIC, the final cruise missile slips through the outer intercept ring. Range 2 nautical miles. Altitude 15 feet. Time to impact 21 seconds. CIWS standby. The missile makes a slight correction, homing in on the largest radar return. The carrier. CIWS lock. Fire. The interceptor launches and closes the distance in seconds. Impact. A hard white flash blooms less than 500 yards off the carrier's bow. The shockwave ripples across the water. Fragments fall away harmlessly. The radar scope goes quiet. The sonar screen does not. The torpedo is still in the water, and the submarine that launched it is still out there. Inside CIC, no one relaxes. No one assumes the danger has passed. The coordinated attack is not over. It has only moved into its second phase. The flash off the carrier's bow disappears back into the night, but inside the Combat Information Center, the battle is still unfolding. The cruise missile threat has been handled. No one says it out loud. No one needs to. Because on the sonar display, a thin white line is still cutting across the black water column. Active torpedo, bearing 085, speed high, wake homing confirmed. The Russian submarine did not fire blindly. It fired with precision. The torpedo is locked onto the carrier group's strongest acoustic signature. Prop wash, cavitation, engine harmonics, the full mechanical footprint of a warship moving through water. The strike group reacts at once. Deploy Nixie. Hard turn starboard, increase to flank. Steel responds through motion. An Arleigh Burke-class destroyer surges ahead, screws digging hard into the Red Sea. Towed decoy systems spill into the water behind it, projecting an even louder acoustic target than the carrier itself. The torpedo shifts course. It takes the bait. Overhead, an MH-60R Seahawk drops lower. Its dipping sonar enters the water with exact mechanical timing. Contact narrowband. Probable Kilo class, range 27 miles. Bearing 087. The helicopter crew stays measured. No wasted movement, no rush. They begin triangulating. More sonobuoys hit the sea in a widening pattern, building a digital trap around the submarine. Inside CIC, another alert flashes across radar. New surface contacts, bearing north-northeast. Multiple small craft. Speed 38 knots. The coordinated attack is still unfolding. 4 fast attack craft appear on the surface display, running low and tight. Iranian hull signatures, likely armed. Now the carrier strike group is under pressure from 3 directions at once. The air threat has been handled. The undersea threat is active. Surface contacts are closing fast. The tactical action officer recalculates. Engagement zones updated. Surface threats entering outer ring in 7 minutes. Above deck, the 5-inch gun mounts rotate just enough to be noticed. Not dramatic, intentional. Then the Seahawk crew reports again. Submarine altering depth, countermeasure deployment detected. The Kilo has dropped decoys. The sonar picture floods with clutter, metallic echoes, false returns, overlapping signatures. The helicopter pilot adjusts the hover. The sensor operator strips away the noise, 1 layer at a time. Then, target reacquired. The real hull is still there, bearing steady. Authorize ASROC. From the escorting destroyer, a rocket-assisted torpedo ignites and launches skyward. It arcs outward, then disappears into the sea miles away. Seconds later, the payload separates underwater. Now the hunter is being hunted. Back on the surface display, the Iranian fast boats break formation. 2 angle wider, likely carrying launch systems. 2 continue straight in. No radio calls, no warning shots, just speed, spacing, and intent. Surface threats inside 5 nautical miles. Electronic warfare scans for fire control radar. Nothing yet, but the spacing tells its own story. It looks like launch geometry. From the bridge, the captain speaks without raising his voice. Maintain rules of engagement. Do not fire until hostile intent is confirmed. The boats keep coming. At the sonar console, operators lean closer. Explosion detected, underwater. Possible detonation. No confirmed kill yet. But the submarine's acoustic signature fades. No propulsion noise, no maneuvering, just silence. The ASROC may have driven it deep, or done far more than that. Above the surface, the Iranian fast craft crossed the 3-mile line. 1 boat's forward hatch opens. Thermal optics from the Seahawk zoom in. Tube configuration visible. Possible launcher confirmed. That is the threshold. Surface hostile intent established. The order comes clean and immediate. Engage. A 5-inch round leaves the destroyer's gun with a deep crack that rolls across the water. It lands just ahead of the lead boat, throwing up a towering wall of spray. A warning shot. The boat does not turn. The second round lands directly on target. The vessel erupts in flame and smoke. Its speed collapses instantly. The remaining boats scatter. 1 attempts a launch. Phalanx comes alive. The high-pitched whine rises, then hardens into a mechanical roar. A stream of tungsten tears into the air. A bright flash follows mid-flight. The projectile never reaches its target. The second fast craft breaks hard, carving white arcs across the water as it turns away. Within minutes, the attack unravels. 1 boat destroyed, 1 disabled, 2 retreating at maximum speed. Back inside CIC, radar returns begin to thin. Airspace is clear. Surface pressure is reduced. The subsurface contact remains silent. The strike group eases speed slightly as formation tightens once more. Damage control teams report 0 impact and no casualties, yet no one lets their guard down. The tactical action officer studies the main display. Ballistic missile, cruise missiles, torpedo attack, surface swarm, all of it within 12 minutes. This was not harassment. It was coordinated integration. The real question now is not whether the strike failed. It is what comes next, and whether the silence below the water means the Russian submarine is withdrawing or repositioning. The surface engagement fades quickly. Burning debris drifts where 1 Iranian fast attack craft once raced across the sea. Another sits crippled and listing, engines dead. The remaining two retreat north at full throttle, leaving long, uneven wakes behind them. But inside the Combat Information Center, no one calls it a victory. The submarine contact is still unresolved. The Russian Kilo-class boat has gone quiet. Too quiet. Passive sonar listens carefully. No propeller cavitation, no maneuvering sounds, only the low murmur of the seabed and distant merchant traffic. At sea, silence is never neutral. Above, the MH-60R Seahawk tightens its orbit, dipping sonar cycles again and again. The crew recalibrates, filtering false returns left by earlier countermeasures. Possible transient, bearing 089, weak. The ASROC detonation may have forced the submarine deeper, it may have damaged it, or it may have pushed the crew into ultra-quiet mode. Either way, the strike group assumes the threat still exists. Then radar shifts everyone's attention. New airborne contact, bearing northwest, high altitude, speed 450 knots. The track is clean, not low, not evasive, not sea skimming. Range 80 nautical miles and closing. IFF remains silent. The tactical display expands to long-range scale. With each sweep, the radar return sharpens. Large airframe, swept wings, twin engines. Profile match. Tu-22 class bomber. Russian. The ladder of escalation is still rising. Above deck, carrier flight operations restart immediately. Catapults cycle live. Combat Air Patrol launches. 2 FA-18 Super Hornets roll forward first, engines roaring at full military power. Behind them, an F-35C is prepared, canopy catching the first pale light of morning. The first Hornet is airborne in seconds, banking hard east before climbing. The second follows. Then the stealth jet launches after them. Inside CIC, the tactical picture becomes layered once more. Surface threats reduced, subsurface uncertain, air domain active at long range. The Tu-22 continues inbound. No weapons release, no visible fighter escort, but its approach angle matters. It is not transiting parallel, it is converging. Bomber range 62 nautical miles. That number matters. It sits just outside common anti-ship release distance. The strike group watches for every clue. Altitude change, nose dip, speed variation, launch geometry. Nothing. The bomber holds steady. Electronic warfare teams monitor for radar lock spikes. Still nothing. The Combat Air Patrol closes fast. The lead Hornet reports first. Tally 1 large twin-engine aircraft. No visible release. The F-35 remains further back, gathering data passively without broadcasting its own presence. The Tu-22 banks slightly left. Testing. The Hornet pilot adjusts position, placing his jet directly between the bomber and the carrier group. No warnings on open frequency, no threats, just presence. Inside the Russian cockpit, the crew can now clearly see American fighters off their wing line. The message requires no translation. Bomber range 55 nautical miles. Still outside release, still no radar spike. Then the move comes. The Tu-22 levels off and begins a shallow turn north. Not abrupt, not dramatic, but unmistakable. The contact is leaving the strike group. The cap does not chase aggressively. They shadow from distance, maintaining separation and recording every move. At 50 nautical miles, the bomber increases speed. At 60, it climbs. At 70, it exits effective engagement range. Its radar return stretches thinner with distance until it begins to fade. No missiles launched, no warning shots. No close pass, only a deliberate approach that stopped short. Inside CIC, tension drains slowly, but not fully. Airborne threat departing. The Seahawk still circles overhead. Sonar remains active. Surface picture clear. 2 Iranian boats destroyed or disabled. 2 more retreating beyond the outer ring. The submarine remains silent. Inside CIC, the tactical action officer reviews the sequence once more. Ballistic intercept, cruise missile defense, torpedo evasion, surface swarm engagement, strategic bomber approach. All of it compressed into a single engagement window. No hits, no damage. But that is not the most important part. Electronic warfare teams replay captured emissions in real time. Iranian jamming waveforms are stored. Cruise missile guidance frequencies are logged. Russian torpedo acoustic profiles archived. Submarine transient signatures saved. Bomber radar sweep patterns recorded. This was not only an attack, it was exposure. Every second of coordination between Iran and Russia revealed timing gaps, communication delays, and limits in joint integration. The strike group did not simply endure a saturation attempt, it mapped it. On the bridge, the captain looks across open water, now calm again. No smoke, no contrails, no visible enemy. Only steel hulls moving through blue sea. The coordinated strike failed to land a blow. More importantly, it revealed its hand. And in modern naval warfare, that can be the costliest mistake of all. The sea appears calm again, but calm does not mean over. Inside the Combat Information Center, the tactical board still shows one unresolved variable: subsurface contact. Status unconfirmed. The Russian Kilo-class submarine never reappeared after the Ass Rock detonation. No debris field, no oil slick, no confirmed kill, only silence. And underwater, silence is often strategy. The MH-60R Seahawk remains on station, dipping sonar cycling at measured intervals. Additional sonobuoys now form a wider acoustic barrier across the likely escape corridor. Acoustic layer holding steady, no propulsion noise. That does not mean gone, it means disciplined. The strike group shifts from reactive defense to controlled dominance. Surface combatants widen formation by precise degrees. Not retreating, not clustering, just enough to complicate torpedo geometry. Carrier speed stabilizes at 20 knots. Escorts vary depth and bearing to reduce predictable acoustic patterns. Above the formation, combat air patrol remains active. Two FA-18S hold the forward screen. The F-35 flies higher and farther back, nearly invisible to most radar systems, quietly collecting everything. Electronic warfare teams begin deeper analysis. Iranian cruise missile telemetry is replayed frame by frame. Guidance correction latency approximately 1.8 seconds. That matters. Russian torpedo acoustic returns show minor oscillation just before decoy acquisition, possible seeker instability. That matters too. What looked like brute force saturation now begins to show seams. The tactical action officer leans toward the display. Recommend counter-presence maneuver. No retaliation. Presence. The carrier group shifts heading 10 degrees west. A subtle but deliberate move. It forces any submerged submarine to recalculate intercept geometry while keeping the strike group well inside international waters. Above deck, cruise rearm aircraft without drama. AIM-120A MRAAMs replaced, launchers reloaded, phalanx ammunition belts reset. No urgency in their pace, only repetition, only readiness. Then sonar catches something. Faint, low-frequency transient. Bearing 092, range extended, possible propulsion restart. The Seahawk crew hears it as well. The dipping sonar operator isolates the harmonic signature. Diesel-electric transition, low output. The Kilo is moving slowly away. Contact opening range. No chase, no further weapon release. The message has already been delivered below the surface. The submarine tested the engagement envelope. It met ASROC and a layered acoustic net. Now it withdraws. On the surface picture, the Iranian fast craft are long gone beyond radar horizon. No second wave appears. Airspace remains clear. The Russian bomber does not return. The escalation ladder has paused, but the shift is visible. The strike group tightens its sensor perimeter rather than easing it. An E-2D Hawkeye rotates into position, extending radar coverage to 300 nautical miles. The F-35 briefly switches to active scan, just long enough to send a pulse across regional airspace. We are here. We are watching. Below deck, intelligence officers begin building the integrated timeline. 417, ballistic launch. 418, cruise missile launch. 419, torpedo in the water. 426, surface swarm changes vector. 433, bomber inbound. Multiple domains synchronized within roughly 90 seconds of one another. That kind of timing does not happen by chance. It requires rehearsal, and rehearsal always leaves patterns behind. The carrier strike group does not release a statement. It does not broadcast warnings. It simply continues on course, but not in the same posture as before. Rules of engagement shift in subtle ways. Launch on detect parameters are updated. Any future radar signature resembling fire control lock may no longer receive the same margin for extended verification. The posture is no longer just cautious. It is deliberate. On the bridge, the captain watches the Seahawk return and settle onto the flight deck. Rotor wash fades across the steel. All domains stable. He gives a single nod. There is no celebration because the real measure here was never destruction. It was control. Iran and Russia tried to compress air, surface, and subsurface threats into one saturation window. They expected confusion. They expected overload. What they met instead was sequencing, layered defense, disciplined escalation management, and something even more valuable. Their electronic signatures are now inside American databases. Their acoustic fingerprints have been archived. Their guidance behavior is already being broken down frame by frame. The Red Sea stretches wide and indifferent around the formation. Merchant ships continue at a distance, unaware of how close timing, geometry, and milliseconds came to changing the balance of the moment. Inside CIC, the screens glow steadily again, but no one forgets how fast it changed. This was not random, it was a probe. And probes that fail usually reveal more than they hide. The strike group maintains speed. The sea stays open. For now, the Red Sea settles back into rhythm. Engines steady, radar sweeping, flight deck secured. From a distance, the formation looks unchanged. gray hulls moving through blue water beneath a pale sky. But inside the Combat Information Center, nothing feels routine. Final domain assessment begins. Air clear, surface clear, subsurface contact fading beyond effective range. No confirmed outcome on the Russian submarine. No second launch from Iranian territory. No renewed bomber approach. The coordinated strike is over. The evaluation is only beginning. Electronic warfare specialists replay every captured signal. Iranian jamming analysis reveals frequency hopping intervals slightly longer than expected. The vulnerability window is narrow, less than 2 seconds, but consistent. That matters. Cruise missile guidance packages show mid-course correction lag under heavy interference. That delay likely affected terminal accuracy. That matters too. Russian torpedo seeker behavior shows a strong tendency to commit to the loudest acoustic source. It shifted to the Nixie decoy faster than projected. That says something about seeker bias. The Tu-22 bomber's radar sweep pattern suggests range finding without fully committing to active targeting mode. It was testing the envelope, not crossing the final line. Every signal is cataloged. Every weakness is logged. The strike group commander reviews the compiled sequence. Assessment? The tactical action officer answers without emotion. Multi-domain saturation attempt. Moderate integration. No sustained follow-through. All threats neutralized or withdrawn. There is no triumph in the room, only confirmation. The strike group transitions back to steady-state transit, but its posture remains elevated. Combat air patrol is doubled for the next cycle. Sonobuoy coverage is extended for another hour. Surface radar is set to longer persistence tracking. The lesson is not only that the attack failed, it is that it happened at all. Iran and Russia coordinated across air, surface, and subsurface domains inside a compressed engagement window. That kind of timing does not come from improvisation. It comes from planning. The carrier strike group does not alter course in response. It keeps moving forward because presence is the mission. On the flight deck, a pair of FA-18S taxi into launch position for routine patrol. Not retaliatory, not symbolic, routine, but fully prepared. In the ready room below, pilots review helmet camera footage and sensor feeds. Not for show, for pattern recognition. How quickly did the bomber adjust altitude after intercept? How precisely did the cruise missiles hold sea-skimming height under jamming? Did the submarine coordinate with the surface swarm, or was the torpedo launch slightly late? Milliseconds matter. Below the surface, the silence now extends beyond 30 nautical miles. The Kilo-class submarine has disengaged. Whether damaged or simply deterred, it has chosen distance over persistence. On the bridge, the captain watches the horizon. No visible enemy, no smoke trails, no splashes, just open sea. But the after-action review points to the deeper shift. Update the rules of engagement matrix. Launch on detect thresholds are now tighter. If a future multi-axis saturation attempt begins to form, it may not receive the same amount of reaction time. If radar spikes resemble fire control behavior, interceptor approval moves faster. Restraint is still part of the doctrine, but the decision window is now shorter. Below deck, intelligence teams begin sending encrypted data packets to Fleet Command and Joint Analysis Centers. Iranian cruise missile telemetry, Russian torpedo acoustic signatures, and bomber approach timing are all folded into a much larger strategic picture. The coordinated strike did not damage the carrier. It did not disable an escort. It did not land a successful hit. But it did reveal something just as important. Doctrine, timing, communication delays, and the interoperability limits between Iranian and Russian systems. The strike group commander sums it up in a single quiet line. They showed us the limits of their integration. No one in the room disagrees. On radar, distant merchant traffic continues moving through the shipping lanes without interruption. Global commerce carries on, unaware of how close-layer defense and disciplined escalation came to becoming something far more serious. For now, the Red Sea remains open. The carrier strike group continues forward with formation intact and systems running smoothly. Iran and Russia launched a coordinated operation. They expected pressure, they expected confusion, they expected a response shaped by panic or immediate escalation. What they encountered instead was sequencing, layered defense, real-time data collection, and controlled dominance. There is no press conference afterward, no dramatic footage, no public celebration, only logs being stored, algorithms being refined, and posture being quietly adjusted. In modern naval warfare, staying intact is only part of the advantage. Learning your opponent's playbook in real time, that is where the deeper edge begins. The sea stretches wide once again, calm on the surface. But every radar sweep now carries more understanding than it did an hour earlier, and that knowledge starts shaping the next encounter before it even arrives.